Hi, I am Dr. Eurydice Seymour coming to tell you stay out of jail. Do not go to jail over grant money. Today's video, I am talking about what is a grant. A grant is free money. Free money. If someone tells you you have to give the money back, it is not a grant. It is a loan. So be very careful because you have people out there that will try to pass off loans as grants. So the number one way to tell if someone is trying to get you involved with a loan is if they say you have to pay it back. Also, what you need to know about grant, there are some loans that are called forgivable. And what that means is if someone present a forgivable grant to you, read all the details. And I'll give the example. SBA have what is called Paycheck Protection Program. And it is a loan. But if you meet certain criteria, stipulation, and deadline, the loan will be converted into a grant and you don't have to pay it back. So if anyone present a forgivable loan to you, make sure you read all the details, and if it's up to snuff, make sure you follow the direction to the T. Example, let's say you have a forgivable loan. You went through SBA and they say turn all your document, proof that you used the loan towards operational costs, such as salary, inventory, equipment, supplies, leasing, utilities, so on and so forth. You got to save all your receipts and issue bank statement and submit it in. And let's say you got all of that and they tell you the deadline is by Friday before 5 o'clock EST, which is Eastern Standard Time. So whatever state you in, number one, make sure you have the right time. I am in Chicago, Illinois. Okay. And let's say I'm told to turn in something this Friday by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That would be 4 o'clock p.m. my time. Or let's say it has to be turned in before 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. Then we know I need to get that in before 10:59 Central Standard Time. So it is so easy to mess up based on the standard time. And I just realized that because I teach a lot of workshop, and I was wondering why a gang of people was clicking to come in, into the Zoom workshop. And then it dawned on me that these people lived on the East Coast or they was in the Eastern Standard time zone. So you want to watch out for that. If someone uh tell you to, get a forgivable loan, which means that if you follow the criteria, submit the document, meet the deadline, then that forgivable loan is converted into a grant and you will not have to pay it back. You will not have to pay it back. I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm telling you something that not only have I heard, I heard, but I also experienced, because I had received a forgivable loan through the Small Business Administration. And I made sure, and you don't have to wait on the day of. You could turn it in before time. You could turn it in 2, 3 days, even a week. Get that fella in, and then make sure it was sent and received on their end. So, because let's say, okay, they said the document, the deadline is 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it shows up in the office 5:01, 5:02. Guess what? You are late, and you have to pay the money back. And someone might say, well, it was only 1 minute. It's all about following direction, following instruction. You could be 1 minute late, or you could be a whole day late, and you can say, well, I was close. It's all about meeting the criteria and meeting the deadline. You will have to pay that money back. So other than that, be careful, folks. If someone tells you, to get a loan, okay, you're getting a grant, but you got to pay it back. It is a loan. The only exception is the forgivable loan. Now I want to move on to talk about, let me see, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about what is a grant. A grant is free money. Once again, it's free. You don't have to pay it back. I want you to be careful, because there's people out there that know non-for-profit language, that know they say funding. Do you need some funding? Come and see us. And underneath that terminology is a pile of loan for you to sign off of. So if you contact somebody, you respond and say, yes, I need funding. Find out if that funding has to be paid back, because they are out there using buzzwords to make you think you're receiving grants. So they like to play words. They'll say funding, and then a person that don't know any better, they'll be like, funding. Oh, it must be a grant. No, you have to investigate. You have to make sure. If they say funding, come fill out this paperwork, and you make sure you read everything, especially the fine line. And then they say, oh, you got to pay back you got to pay this back at such and such a date by such and such a time. Then you know that that was deception. The word funding, and right up under it is loan. so, so again, what is a grant? A grant is free. I'll say it again, free money. So, where do grants come from? Grants come from a number of sources. We pay taxes. We pay federal taxes, state taxes, and we pay sale tax. So a portion out of each one of that is set to the side and it intended for grants. Also, grant money comes from uh, foundations, corporation, businesses. There are two types of foundation. There's public, and then there's private. And under private, you have what is called family foundation. The family foundation is those that want to honor someone in the family that have been passionate about a cause. Maybe someone died too soon and had inspired being a lawyer, an advocate, and they decide to set up a foundation in honor of that person. Or if you're a corporation or a public foundation, if you're a business person and you're making all this profit and you don't want to be taxed to death, what business people do, they create um, corporation. They create public foundation, and they give away so much money in the form of grant to nonprofit to carry out their area of interest, and then they get a write out from the federal government. So that's what grants are. If you have any questions, okay, um, scrolling across this screen is my phone number, website, email. You can leave questions in the comment because we do go back and read them. If you like this video, please like it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have lots and lots and lots of video, specifically on nonprofit. I am Dr. Eurydice Moore, and I have been in business since December 2004, and we are celebrating 20 years in business this upcoming Sunday, December the 8th, 2024. We will have a big blowout, a big celebration of 20 years of being able to keep the doors open, even through the COVID, pandemic. So I thank God for that. We're still standing and yet growing and expanding and scaling the business, constantly developing new products. As I said, I am Dr. Eurydice Moore. The name of the business is Eurydice. I am a 501c3 specialist and grant writer, but I am not alone. We have staff that have been trained in 501c3. And for those of you that is thinking about looking into grants, you must meet some requirement. You either have to set up a non-for-profit and get that 501c3 for the Internal Revenue Service. I am happy to announce that we have a 100% success rate in helping people get their 501c3 since 2004. All my clients, glory be to God, have gotten their 501c3. So now, if you don't want to do a nonprofit, you can do what is called a for-profit, which means that you can set up a sole proprietorship, LLC, limited partnership, general partnership, S corp, C corp. You can set up some type of domestic company or corporation. Now, in order to receive grant money, you have to do one or the other. So to some of you, you're going to need to rewind. I told you what is a grant. I told you the pitfall to look out of. So now that you know what a grant is, now you have to set up a business structure. You have to decide if you're going to be a non-for-profit or a for-profit. And we have been funded by Walmart. To those of you that have your nonprofit, and to those of you that have your for-profit, your business status, your organizing document, and the nonprofit, you have your 501c3, and the business people, you have your business license, then you can move forward. we've been funded by Walmart to present online grant application workshop. And we just had 2 sessions, March, and the other one was this past June, I believe. It fell on Father's Day, June 15th. Okay. And then the next grant writing workshop where you can learn how to write a grant is April the 18th, which is a Sunday, from 4 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Sunday. So if you want additional information, you can text me, you can email, send a link. These sessions fill out quickly. It's very popular. It's the most popular out of all the workshops that we do. Right now, we have 31 signed up, and we're not even in the month of July. The one in March that was scheduled in March, and we advertised it in December, got filled up in January. So don't delay. Now, if by chance you miss the workshop on August the 18th, there'll be one final workshop for 2024, November, in the month of November. And God willing, we will have the lineup for the 2025 free. You're learning how to write to complete grant application for free. Excuse me. No charge to you. When we first did this, we were funded by the city of Chicago. And it's been successful ever since. And then the next year, a group of business women got together, a Gwen McLeod, a Kathy McCurr, myself, Rita McClendon, put some funds together, and it was hosted last year in 2023. In 2022, the city of Chicago had funded this. In 2023, we had 4 sponsorship to fund it. This free grant application online workshop in 2023. This year, we were picked up and funded by Walmart for 2024. And if you would like to be a sponsor, feel free to make contact, and you see the number, you see the email, you see the website, and you could be a sponsor and you will be mentioned in all presentation. And if you have a business or a non-for-profit that serve businesses, you will be mentioned in the business resource session of the presentation. So, once again, I am Dr. Eurydice Moore, a 501c3 non-for-profit specialist and a grant writer. And as I said before, I am not alone. We have qualified staff that know everything that I do. They're able to function with or without me. And that's how business should be. That's how nonprofit should be. Okay. So we cover what is a grant. I told you what a grant is. I told you to look out for the term funding, which is being used very loosely and by people that want to entrap people into loans. There is nothing wrong with loans, but you shouldn't acquire one if you don't have a plan, a feasible plan to pay back the loan. Then if you're going to be unable to pay it back, then you shouldn't apply. Seek out some fundraising, sponsorship, and grants, private contribution. Okay. So, and then if you are going to get a PPP, Paycheck Protection Plan loan, or any loan, make sure it's forgivable. And I explained to you what that meant. Forgivable. A loan where you meet certain criteria and you meet a deadline and you submit all your documents on before time or on the exact day, and watch the zone, so that you won't be penalized and you won't be charged, expected to pay the money back. You want the loan to be converted into a grant. So be careful, because there are people out here that's loosely saying funding, funding, funding. Even banks have jumped on the bandwagon of saying funding, funding. So be careful. Okay. In closing out, once again, if someone tells you got a grant and you have to pay it back, it is a loan. If it's not a forgivable loan, leave it alone. Peace out. Thank you for stopping and listening to this video. There are other videos in the YouTube studio. Please share, like, subscribe, hit that notification button so that whenever a video is uploaded or if I'm doing a live, you will be aware of it and not miss out. Once again, the goal is to get grants and stay out of jail. God bless.